All right, welcome back to the Generation Z podcast. This is episode 11, and today we are talking about managing, mitigating, and overcoming fear. So, fear is something that obviously we've all experienced, and it is the number one thing that is stopping people from just doing what they actually want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
100%.
yeah, huge topic to speak about, really. But before we get into today's podcast, just want to chuck our socials out there.
Yeah, we just want to get them out of the way, just so
Yeah,
that we can get into this topic, really.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you do enjoy the podcast, you can find us on Instagram at _the Generation Z. We do also have a YouTube channel if you do prefer to watch it. And what else? Facebook group. Get involved in that. It'll all be in the description.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And yeah, obviously, through those socials, we'd love to hear some feedback off everybody that kind of listens.
Yeah.
Just DM us if you've listened to a recent. It doesn't even have to be a recent podcast. It can be our first one. It really doesn't matter. It's just we're completely open to the feedback that you give, and that would just make the whole podcast better for you guys. So yeah, get involved.
Yeah, definitely. And that's as well, doesn't have to be just be self-development. It can be fitness, training, nutrition, anything. Just drop us a DM.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we were saying, podcast today about fear. It's going to be split into what fear is, understanding its presence, how to manage, mitigate, and overcome it in order to put you on the right path, basically.
Yeah, because as we said, it's something. Fear is a thing that is holding so many people back, and it's so. I think now more than ever, people are very fearful.
Yeah,
obviously, we're going to go into it, but there's a lot of unnecessary fear.
Yeah,
and this is kind of the main thing that we really want to speak about, and we really want to kind of like bring it home that this emotional fear is something that you shouldn't be kind of dwelling on, and
or even use it to your advantage.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, we're gonna kind of tell you how to kind of change your perception on fear.
So yeah, I'll just jump straight in with what fear actually is. So fear is just reaction to a thought of a situation, and the key part there is that it's a reaction to a thought. So real fear is from a real threat. So if somebody's coming at you, attacking you, it's used as a survival mechanism, which makes us alert to something.
Yeah.
And then we have psychological fear, which is kind of the main reason we're making this podcast, because that fear comes from past experiences or a perceived future experience.
Yeah, the fear that Marcus was just talking about there, how like real fear is from a real threat, that is basically used, or it comes up when you're in a life-threatening situation where it's kind of do or die, and it's like
fight or flight.
Exactly, that's exactly when it comes in, and that increased alertness will be due to like the massive adrenaline rush that will be stimulated in your body for you to kind of react in the best possible way. But psychological fear is very damaging, and it can come in the form of, as Marcus said, it can come in the form of a past experience or a perceived future experience. And the emotions that you're going to feel to do with fear in past experiences like guilt, regret, resentment, sadness, embarrassment, bitterness about a situation that happened in the past.
Yeah.
But if you were to kind of take a step back and analyze this situation, you'd realize that past experience that you're dwelling on is a construct of the mind.
Doesn't exist.
The moment has completely passed, and 9 times out of the 10, the person that was involved in the situation with you isn't even thinking about it either. and we focus on how this makes us feel in the present, and we don't want to let go. And that literally it's quite awful for some people. People get into deep depression and feel a huge amount of anxiety because their mind feeds their emotion, and then their emotion feeds the thought, and it's just a constant, continuous kind of
it's just a downward
circle.
spiral.
Yeah. And for some people, they can't get out of it, and that often leads to suicide. That often leads to kind of quite bad self-inflicted harm, which it's not necessary. I don't. What we're gonna trying to push through in this podcast is that this psychological fear isn't necessary. It's not something that you should be dwelling on all the time.
Yeah, and you just said it a minute ago about it just being a construct. And if you're sat there right now and you're thinking of something that like you're fearing, it's probably not happening right this second. It's either in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
And that all you're doing is basically thinking about how you felt in that moment or how you think you're going to feel, and you're just putting that feeling into yourself now.
But it's and that's the thing. Like if we're looking about fear in the future, we're gonna feel emotions of unease, anxiety, tension about a situation. We're going to feel stressed about an upcoming event, or worry that you think that it's going to go bad for you. But all these forms of fear are completely out of your control. There's no way that you can project or predict what is going to happen in that situation. So there's no need to stress about it. You should just let the situation be when it comes to fruition. You should just be like, and accept it and if it doesn't go your way and the situation isn't completely positive, then it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like, I think yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to say a good example of this is like first year of uni. One of the things we had to do was give a presentation.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, and I absolutely hate public speaking. And
Same.
this is like, I'm not saying that I have no fear anymore. That is not what I'm saying. I just mean that I can deal with it a little bit better. But yeah, I remember sitting outside, or even a couple of days before, I was just constantly rerunning through my mind, like imagining myself in there, and it brings that onto you. And even sitting just outside the room before I did my speech, I was like, "Fuck, this is going to be like I'm so scared of this." Time you get in there, the next thing you know, it's over. And I felt worse before going in than when I was actually doing it. Because when you're doing it, you can then deal with it because you're actually doing it.
Yeah, no, that's very similar to me. I can remember so many presentations that I've done where, like, it's to the point with me where I can't look at the audience. I just look at the notes.
Yeah.
But I've kind of, over lockdown, really, I've kind of realized that all this stress that you put on yourself,
self-made.
It's self-made, and there's no real need for it, because it's just going to make you perform even worse in the situation. Say that you've got an important football game or whatever. If you're constantly dwelling on how you're going to play, and then when it gets to the situation, you then go, "Oh, I'm not playing as well as I thought I perceived I would play a week before." It's like,
but when you were having that
point?
thought, when you were having that thought, you couldn't actually take any action. It was just the thought. You couldn't,
exactly.
But I think basically fear, as I kind of said in the intro, it just stops people from doing what they want to do. It could be it could maybe just be the opinions of others. Maybe it could be financial, which is obviously more serious. But yeah, I think the tips we will go through will hopefully should be able to mitigate and manage fear.
Yeah, you said about fear there, like in a business and personal context, it literally paralyzes people's ability to take action. If you're constantly thinking about what people are going to think about what you're doing, then you're not going to want to do that action. And even though it may give you, or it's a deep passion of yours, and it's going to bring you happiness, which everybody wants to have, everybody wants to live a life of just pure happiness. If you're thinking about what someone else's, like a sly comment someone would say, then you're just letting other people dictate your own life and your destiny. Like whatever you want to do in your life, you can't let someone else decide that for you.
Yeah. If you're living your life to make other people happy constantly, then you're living their life, basically. You're not living your own. You're living up to their expectations. And when you actually think about it, it's ridiculous.
Because how many times do you spend, or how much time do you spend with these people in a day? If you're thinking about someone's opinion that follows you on Instagram, but you don't see even once in 3 days, then why would you even care about what they're saying about you? Like you barely know them and they barely know you. So I think it's literally just about how to change your perception of the fear that kind of arises within you. And you just need to, as we're going to go on, you just need to, when fear arises, you need to know how to manage that fear, because everybody feels fear in their life.
Yeah, like, definitely.
We're not saying, oh, you should be absolutely fearless about everything. You could jump off a cliff and not feel any sort of adrenaline or tension. Like, it's just the psychological fear and the opinion of others that we're trying to get you to kind of desensitize from, in a way.
And just going through some steps to manage fear. One of the books we've both read recently is called The Power of Now, and that is a really good book. And one of the things it says in there is just like, when you start feeling fear, just become aware that you're actually feeling fear and just recognize the emotion of it. And by doing that, you actually become aware of your thoughts, and you can just think, okay, why am I feeling this? Is this
just
thing,
analyze the situation?
Is this thing tomorrow? Is it in a week's time? Can I deal with it now? If you can't deal with it now, why? Like, if you can deal with it now, deal with it. If you can't, why are you thinking?
And exactly 9 times out of 10, it's something that you can't deal with right now. So there's no need for it to take up your mind space. I think if you become more aware of your thoughts and the fear that arises, you're then able to kind of make a conscious effort to stop thinking about that thing that is going to make you fearful. So say, as we said, the presentation situation. If we've got a presentation for uni in a week's time, and we feel a sudden kind of inner feeling of fear, if you were to be more conscious of it, you'd realize, okay, that's a week away. There's nothing, the only thing that I can do now is make sure that I'm prepared for it.
Prepare, but don't be fearful of it, basically. Also, it will just keep going through in your mind. It's kind of natural, and it's easier said than done to just be like, oh, it's in the future, I don't need to worry about it. Obviously, you still will get a bit of fear, but just as long as you're conscious of that, instead of just going down a spiral of like, what if this happens, what if that happens, I just recognize, like, okay, I can't deal with it right now.
And also, I think when we're speaking about fear, about a situation or or a decision that you want to make, I think it's always good to take that first step.
Yeah,
It's
massively.
gonna be the hardest step you'll take, but once you realise that it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be, like this podcast, actually, before we started making this podcast, we were I said to Marcus, I was like, I hate my voice on account, like in the
Yeah.
microphone, and listening to it makes me fucking cringe.
Yeah,
But at
literally.
the end of the day, what can I do
Yeah,
about it? It's
yeah,
my
you can't
voice.
change
Like,
it.
I can't change it, so there's no
Yeah,
reason to dwell on it. And
yeah,
from then on, I've literally we've been completely comfortable just getting on straight away and like
yeah, it's
recording
so true.
podcasts.
So yeah, when we put the first episode or a few episodes out, I was just like, oh, I'm just waiting people to DM me and be like, oh, what
Mm.
the fuck is this? This is
Yeah,
cringe, or whatever. And I was just
yeah,
like, after you first put it out,
yeah,
then it's just like, oh, like, was that it? Was that what I was scared of? Like,
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
really nothing. And then going on from there, the first step is definitely going to be the hardest because that's when you first put yourself out there. Then once you
Mm.
realize it's not that bad, then you can just take the next step and then the
Yeah.
next step and then the next step, and you just
Yeah.
build it up from there, basically.
It gets easier. It gets easier from that first step. Obviously, there may be moments where you may fuck up
Mm,
or along the journey, but as long as you're kind of, as we said, conscious of that, you can't, whatever mistake you made, you can't control what's just happened. As long as you kind of learn to let things go and just let things be, then you're gonna be constantly taking action every day, because you're literally just going to be like, right, if this doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but if it does work, then I've made my own luck. Like,
yeah. And just speaking about that, like even failure, if you do fail, so let's say this podcast again, so you put 20 episodes out and not a single person listened to it, right?
mm,
I would be in the exact same position as I was before I
yeah,
started it. I've
exactly,
lost nothing. You can only gain,
exactly.
basically.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, it's all about perspective. I think
Yeah, really is.
perspective is huge.
Um, and the next point I was going to speak about, because this is still managing fear, is if
Mm,
you just explain your fear to somebody, just speak to a
mm.
mate or whatever. I know some guys be like, oh, I'm not sharing my emotions.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. No, but I think with that, if you're comfortable with someone, if you're that comfortable with someone to speak about your own fears, I think you'll they'll gain a lot of respect for you.
definitely.
And if
Yeah.
they're your true friend, they will
Mm.
listen to your explanation and they will help you. They're not the If they're your true friend and like you hold them dearly, they're not just going to reply like laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, or
Yeah.
like just, it's just not like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if they are your friend, then just cut them off. Like
Yeah,
that is nowhere,
literally.
that is no friend of mine.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
I was like, oh mate, I'm feeling this at the moment, if I got that reply, I'd literally be like, blocked. Like
Yeah,
I'm
be devastated, man.
yeah.
I think another thing here is that obviously you can't just rely all the time on your mates or your
No,
girlfriend or your family to be basically your therapist because that's
no.
just unfair on them. And one thing that I've found quite useful is actually just journaling. So if
Just
you,
writing
yeah,
it down.
yeah,
Yeah,
because if you think about it, if you're speaking to somebody and you keep on telling them all these problems that you have, they're at one point
yeah,
just going to be like, "Oh, fuck, this is too much." A
yeah.
bit of paper is not going to do that. You can write
No.
whatever you want on there and just get it out.
Yeah, and then you can just rip up the piece of paper and put it in the bin.
Yeah.
Like that's what. Yeah, I think that is actually quite a good idea. To be
Mm.
fair, obviously, if it's kind of personal to the situation and you think your friend can help out,
Yeah.
but yeah, as Marcus said, if it's something quite personal to you or something that they can't really help with, then it's kind of up to you to act on your own initiative and kind of conquer that fear yourself. because as soon as you conquer that fear, the self-confidence in yourself is just going to go through the roof.
Yeah, it really is. And a lot of problems that you have or fear of something, you'll probably realize, like, in the grand scheme of things, your problem just nothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
going back to that speech thing, that I had to do, that speech was ended up being in front of like 4 or 5 people. I didn't
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
realize this. I walked in, I was like, oh, is this it? I've had
And
way bigger problems than this.
yeah, and everybody else has got the same problems, and everybody else is fearful as fuck as well.
Exactly.
So there, yeah,
And
like you would all be in the same boat.
yeah, and just one other thing, just to finish off this managing fear bit, is if you do have a really hard day tomorrow or whatever, literally just think, all right, let's say take me for example, all right, I'm 20 years old. Think how many days I've been alive. I've got through every single one of those days. Just another 24-hour period, then it's over.
Mhm. Mhm.
Literally it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's about also, yeah, to round off this section, I think it's what's one of the best things to do when managing fear is expressing gratitude. I
Mm,
think if be thankful for the situation that you're in right now, and once you're thankful for your kind of presence, then those future situations aren't going to be as kind of daunting.
mm,
There's a stupid fact that I can't get my head around even now. It's the probability of us being born at the moment, like in this kind of era, is 1 in 400 trillion. You
yeah.
thinking about your presentation next week, or what so and so said about your hair or your dress or your form at the gym or whatever like that, it's not a problem. It's
Yeah.
genuinely, you've just got to learn to desensitize from other people's opinions, and then from that you unlock an unlimited amount of freedom, because
Yeah.
once you're not
Literally.
thinking about what other people are saying about you, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Obviously not
Literally.
illegal stuff,
Yeah.
but like, you can't just go rob a bank. But like, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you can take as much action as you well please.
Yeah. And when you actually put your life into the grand scheme of things, of like all the people, I know this is getting like a little bit off topic, but I heard it the other day and it was pretty cool. When you
Mm,
put your life into the grand scheme of things, of like you're one in, I don't know, 8 billion people in the world or
mm,
whatever, and we're just on
yeah.
this little planet flying around in space around the sun, you think,
Exactly, it's
like,
perspective, isn't it, mate?
yeah,
It's
like,
it's
yeah, mitigating fear. So understand that you are in charge of your life. Like, it
hmm
sounds so stupid and simple, but it's so
mm.
true. Like,
And that's what people forget.
yeah,
People forget that a lot.
like, so if you're unhappy, then you've got a choice of either you can think, oh, I'm unhappy, sorry, I'm going to make a change, or just
Hmm
accept that you're unhappy. That is
Yeah,
literally the only thing you can do.
yeah, exactly. And if you truly, and yeah, if you, yeah, you can, you are the only person who can control your well-being.
Mm,
If you're looking, or if you're being influenced by external means, this is not just talking about other people's kind of opinions, but this can be about literally anything, like drugs or anything like that. If you're kind of unhappy, you can choose, you can make the conscious decision to be like, right, I'm going to make a change right now, right
mm.
this second, and I'm going to choose from now on to not live like in this unhappy state anymore. And yeah, once you start taking action, then you're gonna become a lot happier, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it links back to what you were saying, like taking action's key. It's the first step. And that first
Mm,
step's going to lead to the second step and third step, whatever. But yeah, if you just constantly live in fear. You get to 80 years old and you're like, I haven't actually done anything with my life because I just was thinking about the opinions of others, always wanting to please other people.
Yeah.
You've got one chance and you fucking wasted it, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. That people a lot. You ask like someone that's old and kind of done it all. You don't want to be that person who has regret. You don't want to be that person who goes, "Oh, I should have started this company. I should have gone here. I should have gone to university. I should have started that podcast. I should have started that music career." Anything. It can literally be anything. If you truly want to live a happy life and live with no regrets, you need to stop being fearful
Yeah,
of future, because when you get to that stage, you're literally going to, when you get to 80 years old, as Marcus said, you're literally just going to be like, why was I even fearful of that? What?
literally.
There was no need for me to be fearful of that.
Yeah,
And you can't get that time back, can you?
you
You
can't.
can't just go back in time and redo the situation. It's not physically possible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier, like, you haven't really got anything to lose. Well, unless it
Exactly.
is financial, like heavy in financial investment in something. But even then, you can be like, well, at least
That's a lesson.
yeah, you at least you won't be living thinking, oh, what if I did put that £2,000 into starting this or that? Like, at
Yeah.
least you know that you've done
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You think about all the successful people. Just read up on successful entrepreneurs and their opinions or their ideas of fear. Most of the time, they don't see fear as a negative emotion. They see it as a positive emotion, and rather an opportunity, as we said, for taking action.
yeah. And something I've been trying to do recently as well, linked to that, is if you think about something, you're like, "Oh no, I couldn't do that. It's too fearful." That means exactly that you've got to do it,
Yeah.
unless
Hmm.
it's like something extreme, obviously. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, if you think, "No, I can't do that," that should be a little click in your mind, thinking, "All right, that's what I've got to do now," because that's what I'm
Yeah.
fearful of.
Yeah, yeah, because if you're getting that thought saying, "Oh no, there's no way I can do that,"
Mm,
just ask yourself, "Why can't I do that?
yeah,
Like, what is stopping me from doing that?"
and
And if you
it'll
think
probably
about it, it will all the ideas and all the ways that you can do it will come into your head.
perspective.
It's just breaking through that like first like kind of barrier.
Mm,
It's just because there's a wall, but people never really want to break through it, and they realize when they break through it, it's weak. The wall is weak. It's just a psychological barrier. And if you were to just literally no holds barred and just go straight, burst through it,
fuck it, mate. Full send it.
no, yeah, just full send it, then you're either gonna, as we said, be in the same situation as you were before, or
Learn a lesson.
in a complete learn a lesson, or be in a completely different situation in 6 months' time.
Literally. Yeah, and just as you were saying there briefly about perspective, sometimes you'll think, I want to do that, and one idea will come into your head saying why you can't do it, and you just accept it. But what you'll probably realise, yeah, that one idea has come in, but then there's 10 other ideas that say why you can do it. If you
Yeah.
start having a positive perspective, being like, all right, I can work around this kind of thing,
Mm.
you'll probably realise there's a way to do it.
A negative mindset is never going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form.
No.
The only thing that you should be doing is thinking positively about any situation, even if it's, yeah, as we said, perspective. Even if there has been a bad or a negative event, you need to learn to think positively and get the positives out of everything. Otherwise, you're just going to dwell on the negative, and you're never going to want to take action again. And
Yeah. And the next thing I wanted to speak about was worrying about the opinions of others, and this is hugely linked to social media, even if you post a story or something, you see that there's, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 views in it, you're
Mm-hmm.
probably thinking, or you might think, oh my God, 500 people have seen this story. That's 500 opinions. Like, what are they
Yeah.
thinking?
Mm.
9 out of 10 times, 495 out of those 500 people honestly just don't really care too much what you're posting.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to see it and make a judgment, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
heavily invested. They're not going to bed
No.
at night thinking, oh my God, do you see what they posted? Like,
Yeah.
everybody's got their own shit to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah. 9 times out of the yeah, as Micah said, 9 times out of the 10, they do not care.
No.
They genuinely they will just flick through the story. They may glance at it, or even a social media post. In fact, they may like it, and then they'll continue scrolling
Mm.
because yeah. If you think that people are having opinions of you in that context, then I think personally that's extremely selfish, because
Mm.
you're basically saying, right,
Self-centered.
yeah, you're basically saying that, oh, my post, everybody's thinking about what I posted, or everybody's thinking about what I did a week ago, that time where I fell over.
Yeah.
Everybody's chatting about me, and it's like everybody has their own shit to be
Nobody
dealing
gives a
with.
fuck.
They have their own life situations that they've got. They're not thinking about you, and as soon as you start to realize that people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are, then you'll be free. You'll be free from that fear, and you'll just live your life on your own accord.
Yeah, you've really got to think about who you actually care about the opinion of. And I don't
Hmm.
mean this to go the wrong way, but I don't know how many followers. I think I have like 500, just over 500 followers on Instagram. Honestly, I don't really care about anybody's opinion on there. And
Hmm.
what I mean by that is, obviously my friends can be like, oh, I don't like that photo.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't really
I
mean
like it.
anything. Yeah. And
I like the photo.
I don't mean to come across as some like, oh, I love myself. I'm blocking out all the opinions of
Yeah.
others. But like, when you actually look into it, like, maybe your mum and dad's opinion or your very close mate's opinion matter,
Yeah.
and it can
Yeah.
even be people that just you kind
It's
of
the people that these followers that you have, you don't really know them personally.
that's what
Like
I'm trying to get at. Yeah,
you've never had a conversation with them,
yeah,
so they don't know you as a person.
yeah.
So
Or you
that
very
judge,
briefly met them or something,
mm,
or that you go
and
to the same uni,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, and 9 times out, they're not going to come up to you after you posted the day before and talk about your Instagram post.
Yeah,
Chances are that you're just gonna greet each other and you're just gonna go about your day.
yeah.
Like
I
as we
think
said, other people have got problems as just as much, or everybody else has got things going on in their life just as much as you have.
yeah. I think that
So,
to just round off this point here, what I'm trying to get at is when you truly think about the opinions of, or yeah, the opinions of other people, you'll probably find that there's very few opinions that you really need to care about.
hmm, yeah, exactly,
That's what I'm trying
yeah.
to get at.
And as you said, like your friends that see your posts, or they see, like they know you as a person,
Mm,
they're not gonna judge you.
no,
They're not gonna
and
judge you for the post that you've kind of made, because they just know that you're living life on your own accord, and like you don't really care about what other people think.
yeah, literally. And the next thing I wanted to talk about, so my iPhone wallpaper, shout out to Gary V, it's a Gary V
Hmm.
quote, is just
Yeah.
really simple, you're gonna die.
Mm.
And that is one of the best things to think. Like,
Yeah.
time is ticking, you can't get
Yeah.
these days back. So
Yeah.
the way I like to think about it is kind of a sand timer. So when you're born, the sand timer flips on its head, and each grain of
Yeah.
sand is a day, right?
Yeah.
So every day, one of those grains of sand goes through. And the best thing is, you never know when the last grain of sand is going to go through. So
Yeah.
I think death,
Life is so unpredictable.
yeah, I know this seems like a little bit deep, but actually death is what gives meaning to your life. If you
Hmm.
live forever, then there'd be no reason to get shit done. If you found
No,
out
that's
you were going to
true.
die in 5 years, I can guarantee your lifestyle would change dramatically. You'd be getting all the shit you want to do done
Yeah.
instantly, basically.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think Gary Vee is really good at kind of just talking about perspective
Yeah,
and kind of getting rid of that fear and just living life how you want to live your life, because at the end of the day, that's how life should be lived.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. So if you were to die today, what could you actually say that you've done with your life,
Hmm.
basically? You'd
You're
probably,
you're a memory.
yeah.
When you die, you're a memory. And what do you want people to remember you as?
Mm. And the
Do
link,
you want to be remembered as like you're leaving a legacy? And if your excuse is, oh, I didn't do anything because I cared about what other people thought, then that is a stupid excuse. I'm sorry, but that is a
yeah, it
stupid
really is.
excuse.
And
Like,
actually, linked to that is the most common thing, and I've definitely been guilty of this before, is,
hmm.
oh, well, the timing's not right. Well,
Mm.
quick tip, the timing is never going to be fucking right. Because
And yeah,
if you actually, if you like subconsciously are scared of change, no matter what time it is, you're always going to have a reason to be like, oh, it's not the right time because of this and that. You're always going to find a reason. If you flip it on your head and just go,
mm,
fuck it, I'm just going to go for it, you'll suddenly realize that basically any time is a good time, and the best
yeah.
time is now.
And what is the right time?
Yeah, there's never going to be a perfect time.
There isn't a right time. There's not saying, oh, I'm going to do this on Saturday. I'm going to do this next week. What's stopping you from doing it right this second in the
And be
present
honest with
moment?
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
don't lie.
if you're listening to this podcast and you're sitting on your bed
Mm,
and you're saying, "Oh, well, the time's not right. Like, I'm not gonna do it now." And it's
mm,
like, well, what else are you doing?
yeah,
Like,
literally.
why don't you just get up and actually fucking do it rather than just not taking action and just kind of dawdling through life and just being all comfortable and just like and shit. It's just like there's no need. If you truly want a good life that you're like proud of, where, as we said, when you look back and you assess your life, you want to be proud of who you what you done and who you became.
Yeah.
And if you get to 25 or you've just come out of uni and you're, because we're speaking to the Generation Z demographic, I assume,
Mm,
if you've just come out of uni and you're going into you're thinking of going into a corporate job at a business, like getting a safety 30 grand a year job starting out, paying off debt,
mm.
then are you truly going to be satisfied with that life? You've basically just been, your potential and your ability to be something better has just been startled right from the get-go. So why wouldn't you give yourself the present moment to just be like, right, I'm going to do what I want, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Like,
And you've got your degree as a backup. You
exactly.
can always go into a corporate job for a few years and get
Yeah,
easy money for a little bit.
exactly. It's just about taking
Um,
risks.
yeah, and one thing linked to that is you'll probably say, okay, I want to start this, and you'll start planning and planning and planning and thinking, and you'll probably realize that you're not getting anywhere because you're not taking any action. And
No.
thinking is what's going to kill like
Hmm.
your whole plan. So I could say I started this podcast. I could be like, okay, so my webcam quality is not great, so I need to get a new camera. and to afford that camera, I need to get a job, but I haven't got a CV, so I need to write a CV. And take a step back and be like, all right, why don't I just start? I'll start with this webcam, see where it goes. If I need a camera in the future, I'll get it. So don't constantly think you need to do all this shit at once. Like, just take the first step and take it one at a time.
Yeah, it's quantity at the start. It's quantity, not quality. Like, as you said, your webcam, it may not be the best quality.
It's a bit shit.
But yeah, I'm not going to say that my camera quality is amazing. Like, it's pretty fucking shit.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still fucking using it, and I've got a laptop, and I'm able to do it.
It's audio's key anyway for this.
Yeah, I'd say 9 out of 10 people have a laptop, and if they don't like their webcam, then I'm going to say 100% of people listening to this podcast have a phone. How about you just get up a voice memo and just fucking talk?
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy now. Like, if you're not going to do it now, when you've got so much opportunity, then you're just not going to get anywhere, and you're just going to make excuses for yourself.
And also thinking about overthinking is Instagram posts. So sometimes if I'm posting to my page and I'm just like, oh, I don't really look the best in this one, or I don't know, I need to do some editing or something like that. I just think, nah, fuck it. I just, like, too much thinking, just post, see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, literally just go for it.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So we've talked about mitigating fear. And now we're going to talk about kind of how to overcome it.
Yeah. It's all
in practical steps.
Yeah. It's all slightly linked, but yeah, we'll move on to this, but you can start.
So the first one is stepping out your comfort zone. I think if you have the growing ability to face your fears on a day-to-day basis, this will boost your self-confidence tremendously, because I go back to this quote, is like, can you challenge yourself to be 1% better than the person that you was yesterday? And if you're constantly adding that 1%, it doesn't have to be 10%. You don't have to have changed from, like, you don't have to make huge steps. It's about making small incremental steps. And if you do that in the long run, it's just your growth is going to like be tremendous, and you're going to feel that in yourself. And you're just, when you're stepping out your comfort zone on a day-to-day basis, this fear isn't going to be something that you associate as a negative emotion. You're going to start to feel comfortable with fear, because once you start to feel fear, you're going to then force yourself to be like, right, I've got to take action. Fear, for a lot of entrepreneurs and successful people, as soon as they feel fear about a situation, they know that they need to take action, and they know that they need, if it's like a business idea that they're thinking, I don't know whether I should do that, 9 times out of 10, these successful entrepreneurs are going, right, I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to see where it takes me.
Yeah, literally. And another thing linked to that is a lot of successful people actually come from quite shitty backgrounds and stuff. And one of the main reasons that makes them successful is because literally when they're born, they're already in an uncomfortable, fearful situation. And they learn from early, all right, I got to take action to do shit and get places.
Yeah.
I mean, this has taken me 20 years to realise. I've always just, like, last couple of years, any spare time, sat on my phone waiting for something to happen. It's not gonna fucking happen.
No, exactly. Yeah, as we said, only you can control your own destiny. If you truly want to see change in your life, you can't rely on other people to just put this shit on a silver platter and just be like, right, I'm gonna give you all this money. I'm gonna give you this 500,000 follower personal brand. I'm going to give you this business. I'm going to give you, like, it doesn't work like that.
Nah,
You have to build it yourself.
literally. Yeah, and also, as you were saying before about getting accustomed to fear, you start to kind of enjoy the adrenaline rush of it.
Hmm.
I've started to be like that as well. So sometimes if I post to my story, or like the other day, I posted a gym photo on my main Instagram account,
Yeah.
and I just kind of thought, yeah, like I'm going to enjoy the little adrenaline rush of just imagining people judging me for that photo. And
Yeah.
once you actually just enjoy people judging you and you enjoy that adrenaline rush, you're just like, this
Yeah.
is fucking great. Like, why have I not
Yeah.
done this before?
Yeah. Yeah, because judgment has been associated with like negativity. Like people are, if you, as we said with fear, if you're able to flip that and actively do things for people to judge you, then you're just not gonna fear any sort of judgment, and you're
Mm,
just gonna live, yeah, as we said, live life on your own accord and just allow yourself to just fucking go leaps and bounds from where you were.
yeah. And just to finish this point off, is you've so I was reading a book. There's a podcast on it. It's called "The Courage to Be Disliked." I think it's episode 7, so you can go check that one out as well. But
Hmm.
it was talking about separation of tasks and
Yeah.
what you do, like anything you do, and how you get perceived is somebody else's task. So if
Mm,
you act how you want, and it is down to them to judge you and agree with you. It's not down
exactly.
to you to do what you want, but try and make them happy. Because
Yeah.
their judgment is their own task, not yours.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. um I think also to overcome fear, obviously you need to be open to it. And I think you need to allow fear, as you said, like you're becoming acclimatized to judgment. I think you need to start to become friends with fear.
yeah. You'll realize you'll enjoy being judged.
Mm-hmm. See, you need to start to see fear as a positive emotion and an opportunity to take action rather than let it dictate your life. Because I think that's what that's is happening to a lot of people at the moment. They don't want to step out that comfort zone, and they don't want to be associated in a negative light. But
Yeah,
if, as you said, if you are taking up other people's thoughts, then that's their problem. Like
literally.
at the end of the day, it's not yours.
Yeah, and if somebody is to give you some shit for some reason, you've just got to think like, okay, they they have feelings of insecurity and they feel the need
Hmm.
to like give out hate in order to make themselves feel better. Like
Yeah.
that is literally
So
what they're doing. You never have somebody that's happy and successful looking down on people and being like, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing? You're stupid." Like
yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
some people that hate aren't happy, and people
Literally
that are happy don't hate. I think
simple.
when you start to when that starts to be your everyday thinking, if you hear someone hating on you, literally just say to yourself, well, they're not happy with their current situation.
Yeah, feel sorry.
and and people that are then like urging you on and encouraging you and being positive towards you,
Real
you'll
ones.
realize that they're happy, and they're the ones that you need to surround yourself with. Because like there's the common kind of fact: you are the 5 people that you associate with the most. And
Yeah,
if you're surrounded by positive people that aren't hating, encouraging you on a day-to-day basis and like being positive, then there's nothing bad's going to come from that, and that's going to spur you on even more.
yeah. It's like that quote. It's something like, "Show me your mates, and I'll show you your future." Something like that. It's so
Yeah,
true though.
yeah,
But I think
100%.
we've pretty much covered everything. But the
Yeah,
one thing I would like just to go back on, because I really think it is a good point, is just if somebody has given you hate or you're unsure about what you're doing, you're scared of something, in 100 years, whoever's listening to this podcast, we're all going to be dead, all right?
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly,
you could die
exactly.
tomorrow. Give it a few years. I won't be here in
Yeah,
100 years. Sam's not going to be here.
no,
If you want to waste your life just sitting there doing fuck all, go for it, mate. Your choice.
yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. Because that's what fear wants you to do.
yeah,
Fear wants you to stay in this comfortable state where you're not making anything of yourself. Fear is literally, as we said earlier on in the podcast, it paralyzes your ability to take action.
mm,
And when people take action on a day-to-day basis, they're growing, and growth is so key to happiness. If you're growing as a person on a day-to-day basis and you're learning a new skill set, you're becoming increasingly confident in a passion, in like at the gym, or you're kind of going through with a passion. Say you're learning to play guitar. If that truly brings you happiness, you shouldn't think, you shouldn't be fearful about it, and you shouldn't think about any sort of kind of opinion about it, because at the end of the day, they're not playing the guitar, they're not
literally.
they're not developing themselves, they're going to stay in that scarcity mindset, and you'll begin to grow away from them. If they're people closest to you, and you take a step back and you realize, oh, like, he's not doing anything with his life, and
So true.
you'll begin to grow away from them, and that's not a bad thing. That
It's not a bad
shows
thing
that
at
you're
all.
growing. That
And
shows that you're growing.
it also doesn't mean that you have to hate them or dislike them.
No,
I have plenty of people that I've been close to before. I'm just like, yeah, I still like them, but I just don't speak to them that much because I just
you're just on
don't.
different paths.
Yeah, literally. And that's not me saying, "Oh, I'm better than you" or anything like that. I'm just
No,
interested in different shit. I want to go a different way.
exactly. Yeah,
Literally,
I
yeah.
want to make something of myself.
Mm.
Like, so,
But
yeah.
yeah,
We
I
hope
think
you enjoyed this podcast.
yeah, it's
I
been a good one.
think, yeah, I think it's a topic that we need to talk about,
Yeah,
because fear as a psychological emotion is probably one of the biggest things,
yeah,
the biggest negative emotion for human beings in general. And typically people coming out of university, like the Generation Z, who are thinking of what they want to do in their life as they come out of university and college, do whatever the fuck you want. That's what I'm telling
literally,
you right now.
yeah,
Whatever it is, whatever brings you genuine happiness, just fucking do it.
yeah,
And in a year, look back, and you'll be like, fuck, I'm so happy I took action there, because 100% it would have, well, 99% it would have paid off. There's obviously that 1% where it may just go to shit, but at the
yeah,
end of the day, you 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 won't you learn so much from taking action,
yeah. No
and
matter
that
what
will just,
happens, you're always gonna have learned a lesson anyway.
exactly, it's not a loss, it's a lesson.
Yeah, literally.
When you're playing football, you don't fucking, when you lose, you don't go negative, you don't lose a point, you just
Yeah,
get zero.
yeah,
So just at the end of
yeah,
the day, you
yeah.
don't gain anything, you don't
Try and
lose
get those
anything.
3 points, but
And yeah, try get the 3 points, but if you don't, then
who cares?
you haven't moved. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's been it's quite an important and like um what's the word? Serious, quite a serious podcast.
serious.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think this was definitely something good to speak about.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
So, hope you did enjoy. As I said at the beginning, get involved in the socials. Drop us a DM if you did enjoy it. Any questions? DMs, Facebook, Instagram. Get all over it. I know you're enjoying it. But
Yeah.
yeah, hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.